Greetings. Hi everyone, how's it going? Welcome to this video. On my channel, I analyze things in depth, like very in depth. Right now I'm going through all of the songs on Taylor Swift's newest album called Folklore, so make sure to subscribe if you're interested in more folklore content. Today I'm going to be doing a literary analysis of the song Peace. There are a lot of theories surrounding this album, so I will be making at the very least 2 summary videos, one about the love triangle theory and one about the album as a whole and how it exists as a cohesive entity. I always do a quick disclaimer that everything presented in this video is my own personal opinion. Music is something that's very subjective. That's why it's so beautiful and just so meaningful. I always encourage you all to comment down below what your thoughts are. I think word choice is very, very important, so I tend to concentrate on diction, which is word choice, and connotation, which can be thought of as like the vibes or the emotions that the words elicit. If I'm looking to the side, I am just looking at the lyrics and my notes. Fun times. Taylor has mentioned that this album in particular is not as autobiographical as her previous albums. She's created characters and plots and storylines. She's like low-key written a screenplay, but there are a few songs on here that are, in my opinion, autobiographical. For example, the song Invisible String, in my opinion, is autobiographical. I actually just analyzed that song. I'll go ahead and link it for you guys. And the song we're doing today, Peace, I think is autobiographical as well. For me, the word peace just means something that's very tranquil and calm, something that has a lot of stability. When something is stable, it means that it has strength, right? So if we are thinking about this in the context of a relationship, this would be a strong relationship with a very strong foundation and one that it was built in the right way. Like it took some time. The building blocks were made of like, I don't know, like cement or brick, something like cute but strong. To me, the word peace has a very positive connotation, and it's just something that's very real. You know what I mean? It's not something that was thrown together. In my opinion, a relationship that feels peaceful is one that was built with pure intention and just with a lot of positive vibes. That's how I think of peace within the context of a relationship. Throughout this song though, Taylor does use the word peace just as the definition that we're all used to. And as we get into the song, I will talk a little bit more about why I think peace is important and why it's the subject of this song. Verse 1. Our coming of age has come and gone. Suddenly this summer it's clear. I never had the courage in my convictions as long as danger is near. And it's just around the corner, darling, 'cause it lives in me. No, I could never give you peace. There's a lot to unpack here. First, let's look at the phrase coming of age. Usually when you hear that phrase, you think of coming of age movies like teen dramas, which I honestly love and I still watch low-key, where a young teen, a young adolescent is going through a very transformative experience and becoming a young adult. That's how I'm thinking of coming of age. It connotes a feeling of growth, of maturity. In this line here, Taylor says that their coming of age has come and gone. They've been through that process of learning about themselves and through that process of becoming a little bit more mature and coming into their own. That whole time period in their life has come and it's gone. She's using the word are, right? So she is referring to herself and her lover. I get the vibe that she's just sitting for a sec and thinking about the relationship, and she's like, you know what, we are at a new stage in our lives, and with that, new themes are going to emerge. When you're growing up, a common theme in your life, whether you're aware of it or not, is growth and maturity and coming into your own and learning who you are and how you move within the world. I find it interesting that the word come or coming is repeated here. In all of my lyric analysis videos, I state that repetition signifies significance. Coming of age is a saying. She is describing the saying using a word that's part of the saying. But to me, it feels more profound. It's like that word is written in bold. I hope this makes sense. Please let me know if it does in the comments below. The tense is different. Coming of age, the ing means that something is in process. It's exciting. You're in the process, you're in the midst of something, you're becoming, right? But then literally 3 words later, it's past tense. Within that line, so much has happened, right? She's covered a lot of time, a lot of ground, and they're not in the midst of it anymore. It's a process that's over and they're on the other side of it. This is signifying that she and her lover are in a new stage now. Within this one line, a lot of time has elapsed. Suddenly this summer, it's clear. The word suddenly signifies to me that this is a very quick and fast thing that's happened. It feels kind of abrupt, and the fact that she's saying it's suddenly clear kind of makes me feel like she had a sort of epiphany no relation to the song Epiphany on this album, which I will be analyzing shortly. Something has become clear, right? A sort of understanding has been reached. She is saying it happened this summer. We know that she wrote Folklore during lockdown and everything. So this is a relatively new understanding that Taylor has come to. This summer is literally this past summer, in my opinion, so it's the summer of 2020. This is just like fresh out of her diary. I never had the courage in my convictions. Courage in my convictions is an idiom. An idiom is just a saying that has a very specific definition. Taylor uses quite a few idioms in this song. To have courage in your convictions means that you're brave to follow through on something that you believe strongly. I always tend to look up idioms because I want to make sure that my understanding is like legit. And I found a definition of this idiom that I really liked. I'm gonna read it verbatim to you guys. It's from the Farlex Dictionary of Idioms, so pretend I MLA cited that. It says, courage in my convictions means to have confidence to act or behave in accordance with one's beliefs or ideologies, especially in the face of resistance, criticism, or persecution. This is a very intense sort of vibe, in my opinion. This is a very vulnerable thing for Taylor to say. Again, I do think this is autobiographical, so she's pretty much telling us that I had these things that I believed about, you know, my life, these principles that I believed in, ethically, socially, whatever, but I never really felt confident to implement them or to take ownership of them. To me, this line suggests that Taylor experienced a ever-present shred of doubt or of fear, perhaps even insecurity, as long as danger is near. We have to think about Taylor's life here. She is very famous, she's very successful, and her lifestyle is different than a common person. For her, the word danger is going to mean something different. I'm going to talk about the word danger in a second. I think for Taylor, the setting of her life and her lifestyle is very much what is affecting her convictions, because she's saying danger is near, and it's just around the corner, darling, because it lives in me. This is really significant. The word danger means something not safe, right? She says it's close by, it's near, but then she tells us it lives in her. It's not visiting her. It's not like in the guest room. It like is literally living inside of her. That means it's something that cannot be escaped. It is an ever-present thing, just like hanging over everything she does. Whoever decides to be with her has to deal with it because it's living within her, right? It's part of the aura that she puts out, if you want to think about it imagery-wise. Whoever is gonna come in, they're gonna also be within the presence of this danger because it's living inside of Taylor. She's kind of changing the way danger exists, because usually you think of it as an outside sort of thing that happens outside of you. Do you know what I mean? Like, danger is something that's like out there. It's not like an emotion. I view emotions as existing within yourself and thoughts as existing within yourself. But for her, danger is something that's existing within herself. That's a very interesting way to think about it. She is aligning herself with the concept of danger. She's very much saying that this danger is interwoven into the fabric of her existence. There is no escaping from it. That's very significant, and that's also just very sad. This connotes to me a feeling of unrest, of uneasiness, perhaps anxiety. It's just very much associated with her fame and her lifestyle. She never had the courage in her convictions, and it's due to this ever-present danger that she feels. No, I could never give you peace. The word give here is very beautiful. She views peace and peacefulness and perhaps even like peace of mind as something that she can give to someone, kind of like a present, like you're providing something of value to someone. That's a very beautiful way to think about it, because peace is something that's very valuable, right? When you are peaceful and in a peaceful state of mind, it can just allow you to flourish as a human being. Taylor recognizes that peace is something of value. That's why she's using the word give. She recognizes that she is unable to provide that to her lover, just due to the fact that her life is what it is. It's kind of like a feeling of entrapment that Taylor is describing here. And she is explicitly stating that she cannot give this person peace. It's not like a metaphorical fog sort of vibe. She's literally like, dude, I can't give you peace. Just FYI, letting you know. I'm sure she's bummed about it, but it's also possible that she feels guilt. A sense of peace is something you want to be able to provide to someone that you love. But I'm a fire, and I'll keep your brittle heart warm if your cascade ocean wave blues come. All these people think love's for show, but I would die for you in secret. Devil's in the details, but you've got a friend in me. Would it be enough if I could never give you peace? This song is lyrically just very exquisite. Let's get into it. A fire provides warmth, and warmth is very important. If you're like out in the wilderness, you need to be able to find fire so you can stay warm and you can survive. It is a life-sustaining thing. It can also provide light, which is very important and a very positive sort of image, especially any sort of darkness. There's also movement within fire. It kind of dances a little bit. As long as it's controlled, it can be a very lively and beautiful thing. Fire can be raging and angry as well. So there's two sides to fire. It's a very interesting thing to note. Fire can also just be synonymous with passion. The image of fire is very dynamic, and I think here it definitely has a very positive, life-sustaining vibe to it, and also just like passionate and just a very nice and sultry vibe in the context of a relationship. And Taylor's like, yes fam, I am a fire and I can keep your brittle heart warm. Brittle is something that's easily broken. The word brittle connotes a feeling of weakness, of something that needs to be supported in some way. So Taylor is saying like, fam, I know your heart needs some support and I can provide that for you. I know I can't give you peace, but I know I can provide you with this, with warmth. And warmth here just means safety and security. If your cascade, ocean, wave, blues come. To me, the word cascade just means something that's very sudden. It's like a rush of something. And she's talking about waves. So it's like a lot of waves in succession that are very like intense and like not chill. The ocean is something that's very vast. It's very beautiful, but it can be very scary. Blue is very significant. In songs that are about Taylor's relationship with her lover, Joe Alwyn, the colors blue and gold are used very, very often. The word blue in relation to their relationship has had positive connotations. Here, I think the word blue is literally just meaning sadness, what we associate with that word, you know, like feeling blue, feeling down. But to me, it's just interesting because she uses that color a lot in both a positive and negative manner when she's talking about her relationship with Joe Alwyn. Again, the lyric that comes to mind all the time for me when I see the color blue or gold is the lyric from her album Reputation, the song Dancing with Our Hands Tied, where Taylor sings, deep blue, but you painted me golden. So she's felt blue before, and now she's saying when you feel blue, when you feel sad, I can be there for you too. If you're ever feeling a great sort of sadness, I can provide the warmth that you need. And blue is like a cool tone color. It's not a warm tone, but she is a fire and she can provide warmth. She literally said that the warmth is going to oppose the cool nature of the color blue. Yes. Hashtag color wheel vibes, I think. I don't know. I'm not an art person. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, okay? Another thing I want to mention is that I do think blue here is referring to like a sort of sadness. Different types of sadness. There can be like a very small sort of sadness. There can be a very heavy and empty sort of sadness. With the ocean and the cascade is a very violent sort of sadness that can overpower you and overtake you. So this is a very violent thing in my opinion. She's saying that even in the most intense situations, I know I can be there for you. So it's kind of like she's pleading her case a little bit. She's like, I know I can't give you peace, but these are all the things that I can provide. Throughout this song, she does state explicitly over and over that I can't give you peace, I can't give you peace. She is not leaving any room for interpretation. I literally can't give this to you. I want this to be clear. I want to have explicitly stated this to you. I bet she's thinking in her head, I want you to be okay with this, please. These people think love's for show, but I would die for you in secret. She's just saying that my love for you is true, it's pure. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. This is just something sacred. If I had to die for you, I will, and no one needs to know about it. I'll just do it based on the fact that I love you, like for real. This is just a very pure, deep love. This is a very beautiful sentiment. The devil's in the details, but you got a friend in me. Devil's in the details is another idiom. When you look at something from like far away, generally, it seems very chill and very simple and very easy, but when you get into the nitty-gritty, into the details of something, it can get very difficult and very confusing, and it can just become something that's very very chaotic and something that's difficult to figure out. That's what that means. It's just looking at the intricacies of a situation, right? That's where the frustration comes in. And it's something that people realize later, you know what I mean? Because you have to go into the process to realize what the details are. And she's kind of just warning him too. It's kind of like a foreshadow. The devil's in the details. The further in you get with this, the more of the details you're going to observe in my life, it's going to get more complicated. It's like a web and it's just like intermingling. But you've got a friend in me. So she is saying, you know what, despite all of this, despite the intricate nature of my life that's super confusing, I am not only going to be your lover, I'm going to be your friend. And doesn't everyone want a friendship as a foundation of their romantic relationships? She is providing him with a lot of things. A romantic love, but also a friendship. You can always depend on your friends. There's a sense of camaraderie here. Friendships can often be thought of as more stable than a romantic relationship, and Taylor is stating here that she can provide him with both. She can provide him with a relationship that's dynamic, but she can't give him peace. It's like Taylor is a lawyer and she's like, these are all the things that I can give you. Please be chill with that. Go watch Legally Blonde after this. And yes, that is what I associate law with. I know that's like not chill. She's saying, would it be enough if I could never give you peace? The word if is really significant. It's a conditional word, right? And it's kind of like she's trying to let him know before he realizes this himself. She's like, before something happens and you realize this and you become really shook that I can't give you this, I'm warning you. So there's no surprises. And so you can just like let me know now that you're chill with it. She doesn't want to mess this up. She wants to be with him. So she is just like, I need to give him a heads up. The next verse is probably my favorite. It's one of the shorter verses, but it's very eloquent and it's very beautiful, and there's just a lot of substance. Your integrity makes me feel small. You paint dreamscapes on the wall. I talk crap with my friends. It's like I'm wasting your honor. What a compliment to Joe Alwyn. We recognize that Taylor has a very deep respect for her lover. He has integrity, right? Which means he's honest. He's an upstanding citizen of the world and he does things based on ethics and principle. I stan. He just has a very ethical existence. His moral compass is pointing in the right direction at all times. It makes her feel small. This is not something negative. Usually when someone feels small, it's a very negative thing, but here, Taylor is just using this comparison to compliment Joe Alwyn. So I don't view this as negative at all. I think it's a very positive and beautiful thing that she's saying. What a beautiful compliment, right? He has the ability to paint dreamscapes on the wall. That's very beautiful, kind of mystical if you ask me. Using the word mystical because there's a lot of mystical diction associated with the relationship of Joe and Taylor. I talk about that a lot in my lyric analysis of the song Cornelia Street. She literally uses the word mystical. I'll go ahead and link that for you guys, and I talked about it a bit in my analysis of the song Invisible String, which will also be linked down below. Let's look at the word dreamscapes really quick. For me, it has a very mystical, ethereal sort of vibe to it. That's the connotation of that word for me. I looked it up in a legit dictionary as well, and a dreamscape is a landscape or scene with the strangeness or mystery characteristic of dreams. So again, it's very dreamlike, it's very whimsical, and it's just romantic and cute in my opinion. She's saying he has the ability to paint dreamscapes on the wall. So not only is he like an ethical, upstanding dude, but he also has a very soft and sensitive side to him. He's able to create beauty in her life. Beauty that maybe she didn't see before, beauty that maybe didn't exist, because he's painting it, right? He's creating it, he's bringing it to fruition for her. He is a very dynamic person, and it seems like they are a very good fit because he is able to provide her with a lot too. I talk crap with my friends. It's like I'm wasting your honor. What a compliment. So she's like saying, I am chilling with my friends, we are gossiping. And while she's doing that, she kind of feels guilty. She's like, my lover is such an honorable gentleman. You could argue that she's kind of putting him on a pedestal, which she might be doing, but I honestly don't view this verse as negative at all. I just think she knows she has a really good and genuine human being as a partner. She really respects him and he has a positive effect on her. And you know, she's kind of putting herself down in this instance. You're talking crap with your friends. It's not like inherently bad, but it's not a very positive thing to do either. Kind of putting herself down a little bit and putting him up higher on a pedestal. But this is not toxic at all. This is very beautiful. She's kind of just like bending the knee. I don't know if I'm using that right here. That's a Game of Thrones reference. I'm gonna be honest and say I've never really watched Game of Thrones. I just like know things about it, but I feel like that would make sense here. I don't know, never mind. She's just kind of like being like to him. She's like putting herself down to magnify how good he is. And this is all in a very respectful way. She is just paying him a compliment in a very profound way. Like, this is beautiful. And I think the fact that she respects him this much is why she made a whole song about how she wants to let him know that she can't provide him with this. To her, it's important to provide him with all that she can because it sounds like he's providing her with a lot of very substantial and beautiful things. And you know, I'd swing with you for the fences, sit with you in the trenches, give you my wild, give you a child, give you the silence that only comes when two people understand each other. Family that I chose, now that I see your brother as my brother. Is it enough? Swing with you fences is yet another idiom. It's actually a baseball reference, which I'm glad I looked up because I would have literally never guessed that. Just being honest. It means you're gonna give it your all. So when you're swinging for the fences in baseball, you wanna hit it as far as you can, I guess, to get a home run. So she's saying that, you know, with you, I'm gonna give it my all so we can like get a home run and win the game. Hashtag sports. So she's saying that like, dude, I'm your teammate. We can work together, we can be a team, and we can give it our all. Sit with you in the trenches, referring to like a war trench. She's saying even in a context that's not positive, in a situation that's very dark and violent and turbulent, like a war, I will sit with you in the trenches. And the trenches are very dangerous because there's literally like crossfire happening, right? Think of Mulan, okay? There's like stuff happening. Like, I don't think she was in a literal trench because a trench is like kind of in the ground, right? But like when Mulan was like at war with the Huns, you could see all the crossfire, and it was a cartoon and it was terrifying, okay? So like Taylor would go where Mulan was with him, and she will go through it with him. Give you my wild, give you a child. What a beautiful line. Use of the word wild here, in my opinion, is referring to her passion. It means that she's gonna give the very best parts to him, and she's okay with that because she loves him and she feels very safe and stable and secure in this relationship. All of these things that are very intimate to her and that are very much at the core of who she is okay with giving that to him. Because the word wild means something that's kind of primal, right? Animals are wild. In society, we exist as ourselves, but as like a diluted version of ourselves, because we're like out in public, we're not gonna like come and spill our secrets, you know what I mean? But she's like, I'm willing to give you everything, the most basic primal part of me. She can really be herself with him. It's kind of like the fire. It's like a lively thing that's like dancing, right? It's passionate, it's life-sustaining, and it's beautiful. And she's like, I will give this to you. It's a sort of thing that can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be spiritual. It's the sort of thing you would give to someone in a relationship that you feel is very, very, very strong and very pure. This is something of value that she's giving to him. Give you a child. She feels so secure in this love that she is super chill with him being the father of her children. And the fact that she's saying give you, power dynamic wise, she's again putting herself down a little bit, but this is just showing the extent to which she loves him. It's like that lyric on the Reputation album where she's like, I want to wear your initials on a chain around my neck, not because you own me, because you really know me. She's not being submissive, but she's like, I feel so secure in this, and I know 1,000,000,000% he respects me so much that like I am like backing down for a nanosecond, and I'm okay with that. It's a positive thing. I believe that is the emotion that she is trying to describe here. I hope I'm describing it effectively. Let me know what you think of in the comments below. There's a few different ways you can interpret this. Let me know what you think. She's not saying like, oh, we can have a child together. She's like, I will give you a child. Having a child together, experience is very different for a woman versus a man. The woman is the one that goes through pregnancy. They go through childbirth, and they go through all the things that occur after childbirth, physically and, you know, even emotionally. You know, postpartum depression is a thing, etc. She's like, I will give you a child. So she's again saying like, I will make sacrifices for you. I am not saying like having a child is a sacrifice, but I'm saying that like the word give means that I think of the phrase giving up. This is not a negative thing. It's a very beautiful thing. She is just saying like, I will give these to you. I will gift this to you. I will provide this for you. She is saying that like she's willing to do a lot for him. I don't know, I feel like when you give someone something, you have to feel really secure, especially when you're giving them your wild and you're giving them a child. It just shows that she feels very secure in this relationship. I'm using the word deep and pure a lot, but this is signifying to me that the love she's experiencing is very real and very deep and very pure. Because you're not going to like give anyone your wild, right? There's like a certain type of criteria that has to like be met. Like you have to feel a certain way for you to be okay with doing that. She has no doubts. She's 1,000,000,000+% sure about this relationship and about him. Give you the silence that only comes when two people understand each other. This is referring to the fact that when you are super down and chill with someone, and when you exist on the same frequency, you don't have to fill the void with noise. You can just exist adjacent to one another and feel connected in an intimate way, and she has that with him. That's something very rare. That's why she's saying she can give that to him, because you don't have that sort of connection with just anyone, but they have it, and she can give that to him. That's a very profound thing, and it's a very rare and beautiful thing. Again, expressing how legit this relationship is. Family that I chose, now that I see your brother as my brother. She's referred to Joe Alwyn's brother a few times. In her Lover album, I believe it's the song Paper Rings, she refers to a wall that she painted that was Joe's brother's wall. In this song Paper Ring, Taylor says, "I'm with you even if it makes me feel blue, which takes me back to the color that we painted your brother's wall." So there's a picture of Taylor like coloring a wall blue, and I don't know where it's from, but the picture exists, right? The act of painting Joe Alwyn's brother's wall was a very significant thing for Taylor, because it's literally in a song, right? And there's like a picture of it. This is just showing a very deep connection, a very deep level of intimacy. She is viewing Joe's brother as her own brother, right? And she already has a brother, so she knows like the depth of connection and the depth of love there. She's like, your family's my family. I see us as one and the same. Very beautiful. Is it enough? She is saying, I can provide you with all these things. We're gonna be a team. We're gonna play baseball metaphorically. We're gonna fight wars together if needed, right? I'm gonna be right there in the trenches with you on the front lines. I'm gonna give you my wild, give you a child, you know, give you this understanding of existing in the same space and being connected. But is this enough? This is a lot, right? The stuff she's describing here is rare. Like, you don't have this with everyone, especially all of them together at the same time. And it sounds like they have all of these at the same time, but she's like, is it enough? She views peace as something very important, and it is, but maybe she views it with such significance because it's something that she's lacking in her life, she feels like. Maybe to Joe, he doesn't value it as much, or the love he has with her overpowers the deep need for peace. I don't know, I'm not really gonna like remark on what they feel, right? But I'm just throwing that out there. This is a very substantial song, meaning like there's a lot of very intimate thoughts and emotions being expressed here. It's very, very beautiful. But there's robbers to the east, clowns to the west. I'd give you my sunshine, give you my best, but the rain is always gonna come. This is rain. If you're standing with me. She's saying, you know, we can have this love together and we can stand together in our love and exist in our love, but there's robbers to the east. So there's people that want to steal it away, or also literal robbers, because people have broken into her home like multiple times. There was a news story where someone like crashed into the gates of one of her homes, and I don't think they were trying to get to her house. I think they were like trying to get away from something, and she legit commented, I think it was on Instagram, that nothing good starts in a getaway car. Just felt the need to express that. And if you didn't know, Getaway Car is one of the songs off of her album Reputation. But yeah, I just chuckle at that, LOL. Clowns to the west. The word west in the lyric video is capitalized, so that means it's a proper noun. That's more significant too, because nothing in this album is capitalized. She's going for like a lowercase vibe on this album, so you know, it's kind of just like referring to a person that has the last name West, so she's calling that person a clown. I'm gonna leave it at that. And while I brought up the lyric video, I want to talk about that really quickly. It is, let me look at it while I describe it. It's a landscape with dark clouds and lighter clouds. The dark clouds give me a feeling that a storm is coming and a storm is brewing, but there's also in like the corner a bit of sunlight. It's not like super bright, but it's a bit of light in a storm. I think perhaps that is the peace, perhaps their love, but then the darkness, the chaos is circling them. And if you just listen to the song instrumentally, there's like a sound in the background the whole time. I think that's reflective of the anxiety she feels about this. It could also at the same time be reflective of the chaos that's always in the background of their life. And then up front is her beautiful voice that's very warm and soothing. There's not a lot of instrumentation. You have to really listen to her voice, so that's up front. And then there's like the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, kind of like a beeping sound, but not really, in the background. Just wanted to mention that. I thought that was a very interesting and beautiful touch. Very much a reflection of the emotions felt, but just musically. I'd give you my sunshine. The brightest parts of herself she wants to give him. She wants to make him happy. She wants to share very beautiful and positive things with him. Give you my best. So again, she's just saying like, I want to give you everything, but there is one thing that I cannot give you no matter how hard I try and no matter how much I want to: a peaceful life. The rain is still gonna come. Even if she's exuding sunlight, the rain is still gonna come if he is with her. She just really wants him to know that their life is gonna be beautiful and great and chill, but there's gonna be lots of hardships here that could be potential deal breakers for some people. The last verse consists of repeated lyrics. I'm only gonna comment on the ending. Would it be enough if I could never give you peace? And that question is repeated 1, 2, 3 times. Again, as I state in every lyric analysis video that I do, repetition signifies significance. She's kind of ruminating on this thought. Rumination is when you think about something over and over again and you don't really get to like a conclusion. It's just kind of like on loop in your mind. This repetition to me gives a feeling of anxiety, and this is the way the song ends lyrically. We don't get an answer from him, right? But we are just getting her thought process about this, her stream of consciousness, if you will. And it's a stream of consciousness of a lot of emotions. It's a very emotive stream of consciousness. It's not just thoughts, but it's like a lot of metaphorical emotions that she is describing here. The fact that these are questions that are repeated to me creates a feeling of uncertainty. I talked about this a little bit in my lyric analysis of the song Somewhere Only We Know by the band Keen. In that song, the number of questions increased towards the end because there was a feeling of uncertainty present and a feeling of desperation that was increasing. I'll go ahead and link that video if you're interested. It's a similar thing here, a slight feeling of desperation because there's 3 questions repeated after one another and they're the same question. She's like desperate for an answer, desperate for relief, and that's the song. To sum up, this song is a reflective piece by Taylor, showcasing the uncertainty she feels about not being able to provide Joe Alwyn, her lover, with a peaceful relationship. She values peace and tranquility, right? Because she doesn't really have access to it that often, at least not in the normal way that we do. She is explicitly stating this to him. She wants to make sure he knows that this relationship is not going to consist of that, and she just wants to make sure it's enough. This is very vulnerable and very beautiful. The fact that she wrote this song just means how much she loves and respects him. The imagery in this song, the diction in this song, the repetition of the word give really shows me that Taylor respects Joe Alwyn a lot and she has a very deep and pure love for him. Yeah. Let me know what you think of in the comments below. Let's discuss this song. Please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night or morning or like literally whenever you're watching this. Okay, bye. Bye.